Right, okay, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today I've got a transfer roundup for you all. We're going to go through loads of stories. We've got absolutely loads of stories. First one of the window, obviously. We've got Gallagher, Hakim Ziyech, Trevoh Chalobah, Maatsen, Victor Osman, Jean-Clair Todibo, David Odogu. So we've got 7 stories. I'm going to go through them from ones of players who are at the club to potential signings. I'll leave a timestamp in the description for every single player, so if you want to just skip to one player story, you can go to that now. But yeah, first transfer roundup of the winter, and as I said, got a bunch of stories, lots happening. Let's get into it. So starting off with Gallagher, then I've got multiple journalists' reports on this. First one of the window, we have to start with Fabrizio Romano, don't we? We have to start with him. There'd be no other appropriate way. He reported on the Conor Gallagher incident that Chelsea and Gallagher are still talking over a new contract. Mauricio Pochettino in every conversation is saying he's an important player for the team. He also added that Spurs are still interested in him, but no talks. Then Nizaar Kinsella came out and said Conor Gallagher is expected to turn down any move away from Chelsea. So Conor Gallagher wants to stay, basically. Then last but not least, Rahman and Osman said Pochettino has made it clear to the board that Gallagher should not be sold. The manager wants to build a team around a core of English players, and Gallagher sees an ideal leader. So what can we get from these 3 stories? Pochettino wants Gallagher to stay. Gallagher wants to stay. Gallagher is important to the team. That should be final. He should get the contract offer he wants from that point onwards. If they want him to stay, he gets given the contract, full stop. If it's what the manager wants, and that's how it is in this situation. When you've got a player like that, he sees him as a player to build the foundations of the team on him. He has to stay. The fans want him to stay. Poch wants him to stay. Gallagher wants to stay. He has to stay. Good news to hear after a month or 2 of hearing rumours that he's probably going to leave. This is really a good thing to hear at the start of the window. Next up, Hakim Ziyech. This one's coming from NTV Spor. Obviously, I talked about him yesterday in the loan update video. I talked about how he's had a bit of an inconsistency in Galatasaray. Well, we've heard this come out last night/today. It says Galatasaray could terminate Ziyech's loan from Chelsea after 5 months. He's not performed as expected and has been ineffective, is what NTV Sport released. I can't remember the exact stats, but it's like 14 games, is it? I think it's 14 games, 4 goals, 2 assists, and he's missed 10 games for injury through 3 different injuries. So clearly not happy with him. We know he's had injury problems last 2 attempted transfers away. He's failed 2 medical tests and it seems to be falling through. I can't really speak that much over the ineffective and not performed as expected because I haven't watched him pretty much at all, apart from Champions League and a few highlights. So it's hard for me to comment on that. But stats-wise, 6 goal contributions in 14 games in a new country, a new club, it's not too bad, especially because you come back from injury a lot. But once again, it's hard for me to judge. But Hakim Ziyech coming back, how will the squad take this? I think we need to get rid of him. This will be a real pain if he's going to come back. Because will anyone sign him off the back of this? I'm not sure. So it's not great. Next up, Trevoh Chalobah. According to Jacque Talbot, Chalobah's still injured, and this means a move away is unlikely for him in January. But the Italian, I think they're a newspaper, I don't know what they are, but the Italian brand Tutto Mercato, I believe you say it, says Roma's main defensive targets in January are Trevoh Chalobah and Todibo, I think it said. But most importantly, Trevoh Chalobah is on Roma's list. We know Bayern wanted him this summer. I don't want Chalobah to leave in January. I want him to have the rest of the season, try to get a few games out, let's see where he is compared to who we've got in the squad. I like Trevoh Chalobah a lot. Obviously, a youth player, so he came up, he's a Chelsea man. I don't think he's ever really massively let us down. So I think he's reliable. I think he has captain ability. We know we said earlier, Poch wants to build this team on an English core. Chalobah could very much be a part of that. He's a young defensive player, can play centre back, part of the spine. Also can play right back, offers a bit of versatility. I think you can also play CDM as well, can't you? So offers a lot of versatility in that spine of the team. I just want to see where he adds up against the players we've currently got. Right now, the centre back situation is interesting because we're not quite sure what's going on with Thiago Silva. There are rumours of another centre-back coming in, what we'll talk about in a sec. So it's a bit of an interesting situation with Chalobah. Will he leave? Will he stay? It's a hard one to tell. I know. I'm pretty sure he's back on the grass now, back in some type of training. So to say he's still injured, limiting him going, it's a bit of a difficult one because he could, by towards the end of the window, could become fit enough to pass this. I'm not sure. But as I said, hopefully he stays until the summer at least, and we can work it off from there. But I say we know Roma and Bayern were interested in him, Roma are interested in him, so we'll have to see how that one ends up. Next up, Ian Maatsen. According to Sport Bild, Dortmund are in advanced talks with Ian Maatsen, having followed the left back for a long time. His valuation is around €20 million, what is £17 million. But according to Nizaar Kinsella, Dortmund really prefer a loan move initially. They are struggling to meet Chelsea's demands though, however. I think Chelsea are planning on an obligation to buy for around, I think it's 20, 25 mil maybe. Yeah, so Chelsea want an obligation to buy for £26 million. Dortmund aren't sure on that, they want just a loan at first. But they seem to be very keen on him. So I'm interested in having Maatsen once again. He struggled at the game time. It surprised me actually, because Poch spoke very highly of him in pre-season, but he just struggled to play. And when Cucurella's fit, when Chilwell's fit, he seems to be the third choice left back. We've seen Gusto play at left back when he hasn't played there. So where does he really sit among the left back standings? It doesn't look great. It's a bit of a shame because I like Maatsen. I think he looks like a decent player, but we're just not seeing him really get an opportunity. His only league start season has been a right wing. Well, I mean, he's a versatile guy. We know he can play left wing. We know he probably could play, but it's not his position at all. He was miles out of position, and that's his only start. And I don't know at this rate, it might be his only start for a while. So, yeah, I think Ian Maatsen, will he go this window? I'm not sure, but I do think him leaving is a possibility, especially after the summer as well, where he just stayed on the final day. So, yeah, Ian Maatsen's one to look out for. Will Dortmund get him? But if we can get 25 million for him, 30 million, that's a decent amount of money for him, in all fairness. You can see he's a kind of person, they want to look for full profit off the academy players, but I'm not the biggest fan of that being the way to escape FFP. But yeah, I think Ian Maatsen's one of the players who could go. So we know we need to sell to get a bit of money in. Ian Maatsen could be one of those players. Right, let's go to the players potentially coming in then. As I said, we're going to need to sell to bring in. And what someone would definitely need to do that for is Victor Osman. So Ben Jacobs reported that Osman is impossible to sign this month, but Chelsea could try and make a pre-agreement, similar to what they did with Nkunku. So Victor Osman's in a weird situation right now, because at the start of the season, the Napoli stuff, we were expecting him to leave. Now, what was it, last month, he signed a contract extension until 2026, was a release clause of about €120 million. Was about £111 million, I want to say. So we don't really know where the Victor Osman situation is at right now. We know what he put on Twitter or X, was it last week, when a Chelsea fan asked him to join. So, God knows what's happening with Victor Osman. Is he leaving Napoli? Is he joining us? Is he staying at Napoli? Is it going to happen this window? Probably not. That's what the reports are. It's probably not going to happen this window. And I mean, I don't think it will happen this window, because I think it'll be an inflated price. I also think that we're not going to have to sell enough players this window to make up the money to buy Osman. So I think there's pretty much no chance it happens in January. Pre-agreement, it could happen. And I said we got a pretty decent price on Nkunku, 45 million on a pre-agreement. Hopefully that could work with Napoli, but we know Napoli tends to be very strict for their negotiations, a very hard team to deal with. So yeah, it's not great. Nizaar Kinsella put on the topic, they said Victor Osman and Ivan Toney are two forward options, so both been considered by Chelsea, but are both deemed expensive and difficult to sign this month, so sort of backing it up. And we do know they've looked at cheaper alternatives as Chelsea as well, so as strikers a priority, can they afford to just not sign one this winter and look to try and get Osman this summer? You're basically putting your half season at risk. Even if we do have Nicholas Jackson, who's been decent so far, it's a bit of a tricky situation. That's all on Victor Osman for now. On to a big story, and also Conor Gallagher, maybe our biggest story of the window so far. It's Jean-Clair Todibo, obviously 24-year-old, right-footed centre-back from Nice. Santi Aouna, I think I said that right, reported on this saying Chelsea have made contact with Jean-Clair Todibo in the recent hours. Ben Jacobs then came out and gave us a approximate price we'd have to pay for him, saying Chelsea would have to spend around 60 million euros, or it's 52 million pounds, if they want to sign Todibo in January. Nizaar Kinsella also came out and said, a move for defender Todibo deemed unlikely by Chelsea. They've had no formal talks to him, and move for a new centre-back is seen as a lower priority this month. And last but not least, Fabrizio Romano came out and said, Chelsea know Todibo very well and are following him, but at the moment there's no concrete contract negotiations taking place. So we're interested in him. Doesn't look likely we're going to go for him. I don't think we need him right now. Maybe in the summer. See what happens in the summer with our other centre backs like Silva, like Chalobah. But for me, right now, we don't need him. I wouldn't go for it, especially for £52 million for a player who's, he's clearly decent. He's had a few international call-up stuff, but he's not proven at a good enough level for us yet. I wouldn't go for him. Look, you say the two best clubs he's been at is Barcelona and Benfica on loan. Benfica on loan didn't play a game. Barcelona played about 4 games without loan 3 times. So he's unproven at the best level for us. I wouldn't. I say he does feel a decent player, quite physical, good defensively, really good with the ball at his feet. Maybe not great in the air, but as of right now, this window, for me, a centre back wouldn't be a priority. And last but not least, David Odogu. This one is fully from Florian Plettenberg. He says, I understand that Chelsea and Leicester are interested in signing the 17-year-old top talent from Wolfsburg. First talks with both clubs took place. He's open to leave in the winter. So David Odogu is a centre-back, another centre-back from Wolfsburg, 17-year-old. He won the Under-17 World Cup with Germany. This is another really interesting one. We don't really know the price right now, so it's hard to judge. As well as I haven't seen pretty much any of him. I've heard good things about him, but I think I've seen about a total of about 4 clips of him. So it's very hard for me to judge this one. Once again, it's another centre-back I wouldn't prioritise right now, but the point he's a 17-year-old tells me he's not going to go straight into the first team, he's going to go out on loan, or he's going to go into the youth team, meaning I think it's more likely to happen. Because you look at Jean-Clair Todibo, if we sign him, he's going to be playing, well, I don't think we need. But if I sign a centre-back to, for a few years' time, as long as it's a good price, I can maybe see the point of it. But yeah, he seems like a very good player. Apparently he's attracted a lot of English clubs' attentions. As of right now, Chelsea and Leicester are the only ones being, I guess not confirmed, but put out there by journalists. So yeah, an interesting one there to look out for. Say, Florian Plettenberg leading that right now. So yeah, that is it for today then. There are the 7 news articles gets kicked off this window. What are your opinions on them? What is your ideal window? Who would you buy? Who would you sell? What's your net spend looking at? If it tells us the fees or whatever, or if it's a loan. I want to know what your guys' ideal window is, or who do you want to target. I want to see. Yeah, thanks for watching, and see ya.